morning, guys. I'm finally back on the East Coast, or at least Eastern Standard Time, which makes me feel happy because that's where Steven is, and that's where basically we've set the time zone for all of the stuff we do. So no longer will I have to be 3 hours beforehand or any of that craziness. So finally on the East Coast. I actually made it to Ohio last night, like the video title says. So feeling good, made good progress yesterday, but yesterday was just ugh. I didn't go live last night just because it was downpouring all night, and yeah, it just wasn't fun. I was having to concentrate so hard. I actually had a headache for quite a bit, just because I was staying so focused on the road. I was trying to drive. I even had to take like a 2.5, almost 3 hour break in the middle of the day because it was coming down so hard, like no one could see anything. So I was just like, let me be safe here and pull over and just kind of wait this out. So yeah, yesterday was rough. Misery did not disappoint. It was miserable driving through there. Not looking forward to going back through there anytime soon. But again, we made it through, even with all the struggles and everything. The biggest thing, I guess, that slowed me down yesterday was just like Google Maps not working, which was frustrating. If I typed something in, it would just give me like the little UFO if like it didn't, like, you know, it couldn't find anything, even if I had like the exact address. So shout out to my girlfriend for helping me out. I desperately wanted Jimmy John's yesterday because I didn't have any in California for like the 2 months I was there, and so I was on the phone with her and she was like guiding me towards the nearest Jimmy John's. And then even when we found one, it was like in the middle of this town that was celebrating 4th of July, which happy 4th of July everybody. I know I'm a little bit late on that one. I didn't say anything yesterday because I was just so focused on getting on the road. So like that was a big headache. Then I had to go to the next town over. It was just like, yesterday was just full of like little silly problems that all added up to just like kind of frustrating. And then I didn't have really any service last night, which was also kind of a downer. So didn't get to post too much either. But all in all, happy that I'm in Ohio finally. I'm about 3 hours away from where I'll be spending the weekend, and then it's like another 3 hours to Ann Arbor, where I'll be spending a month or two just hanging out with some family and friends there, so looking forward to that. But yesterday, thoughts on, you know, just while I was driving, again, trying to tie in like my work life and my travel life. My thoughts from yesterday is just, I need to like keep in mind that I'm an entrepreneur. I'm doing cutting edge stuff. I'm doing things that don't always work out, and I think I can save myself a lot of frustration if I just keep in mind that kind of like that 80-20 rule, and it might even be less than that for what I'm doing, just because, you know, I'm a younger person and I'm trying, you know, more ambitious ideas. So I'm even thinking it might be like more of a 90-10 rule. And that rule is just saying, like, you know, I'm gonna spend, out of everything that I'm doing, only about 10% of it is working, and that's how I'm applying it to my situation. Again, just to help try and save myself some frustration. When we were listing shirts, we kind of had a percentage that we were, you know, targeting, and it was maybe like 20%, sometimes a little bit higher than that. You know, like shirts that we'd actually list in new niches that we knew nothing about would sell about 20% of the time. And so that is what like kind of encouraged Steven to have the thought of like, we just need to be listing more shirts. So at one point we were doing 1,000 listings a day just to see if we could scale up that high, and it was just a big headache and didn't allow us to do a lot of other things. So we definitely had to scale back from that. But we were able to get a lot more done and actually see a lot of success from doing that 1,000 shirts a day. And we learned a lot of lessons and stuff that we still apply to our business now. But the title of this video is like, let's be real. And I think that, you know, we need to show more. We talk about all these failures we have, and we try to like wait until we have like this lesson or this thing that we can pull out from our failure, and so we can show you guys. But I think also talking about like the amount of stuff that we're doing that just doesn't end up working out. So like all of last week, I've talked about this, you know, Spark course that I'm trying to put together that would like encompass everything about Spark that I know, and stay up to date with, you know, all the changes that's happening over there, because Adobe is constantly updating Spark. And I still want to do that very badly, and I hope to have something by end of next week, at least like the beginning portion of it, and then add more to it as we go. But that was a failure. Like, I spent all week, almost like a week and a half, editing and thinking about how I can put this course together, and all the files were just like, each video ended up being like 1 minute long when it should have been like 15 minutes just because the end got corrupted. And I was like, okay, well, that sucks. So like, on to the next thing. And so again, for me, like my own like mental health, I just have to remember, like, all this effort that I'm putting into things, nothing might come of it. But as long as I keep doing a lot, 10% is not like, 10% is enough for me to live and be happy that like I'm actually am producing things. But if I like start cutting down the things that I'm doing because I'm like, oh, only 10% of it's actually going to work out at the end, then that 10% is going to be a much smaller amount of things working because I'm not doing as much. So it's just kind of the entrepreneurial like life. It's kind of where we're at right now, is like, a small percentage of what I'm trying out is actually going to work. And I can even apply that to like licensing deals or, any other types of like partnerships and stuff that we're doing. When I walk into random businesses, when someone's like, hey, can I give your contact information to this person? They'd really love to, do shirts or whatever. Not getting excited about every single one of those opportunities, but knowing, again, that only like 10% of them are actually going to turn out to like working out all the way through. There are still like a handful of people that I have on my like kind of, call daily list or text daily or touch base with daily, because they're really, really good opportunities, but for one reason or another, they just like those partnerships haven't started, or those deals haven't like, moved past the point of actually, putting action to some of the things that we've talked about. And so instead of just being frustrated or getting upset at that person, I just have to keep in mind, like, I can just keep going out to more people. What we're doing is so niche and so new that it's not like I'm, at a short for people who want to understand what this opportunity is, or at a short for like people who have groups that want to monetize. So I just need to keep going out, keep finding new people, like keep pushing forward, and not get frustrated or upset when, something doesn't work out. So I think that's, along with talking about being more consistent and trying to come up with some like calendar for consistency or whatever I'll be doing for that. I also want to be talking about more of like, the percentages of things that happen, or talk about like, the likelihood that, things will be successful. It kind of sounds like a downer when I put it that way, but I want to be, real with you guys and let you know, like, not every single shirt that we put up sells. It's only a percentage of what we're doing actually works out. And so we just keep in mind that if we're consistent, that percentage will also be consistent. With shirts, we can kind of cheat a little bit because of the way that we're niching down. That percentage can go up once we understand those customers and what they're looking for, the colors they like, the type of imagery, all that stuff. And we've talked about that in some of our other courses and pre-flight and things like that. But with this, the new way that we're trying to do licensing deals and the new way that we're doing some partnerships, the percentage of that is very, very low. And it's just because, we need to learn how to explain it better. We need to let them know what is expected of them, and just, better communication all around. So just trying to be more open about, some of the deals that we have going on. And that's something I talked about in licensing too. Hopefully when I get to Atlanta and I can start going out to a lot more local businesses and it's not just all word of mouth stuff, I can share a lot more of like the progress of that journey. I feel as for print on demand, our organic search, like we really waited until we had a good system to start teaching on that, because we were like, we want to bring something that's actually working to, this audience that we have. And we've done that, and we're just learning how to like teach on that better. And so that's still exciting, but it's just, progress that needs to happen over time. And for the licensing stuff, I feel that I can be open enough with you guys to actually share that as I'm going through it. So I'm not trying to use any previous contacts like I have done in the past with the schools and the churches and the nonprofits. I want to go to new types of businesses and learn, who should I be talking to? How can I structure these deals? And just showing you guys all of that stuff. I probably won't show you every single one, because again, it would be really like, 90% of that stuff failing, and it would just be like a lot of work to follow like which one is actually going to work out. But at least talking about like how many businesses have I approached at this point, or organizations have I actually like gone and talked to, and what is the success rate of this. So yeah. just want to talk more about, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing that doesn't work out still to this day. So, I think the whole reason of sharing all this is I think it's encouraging to know that, there are certain people that I look up to and I think like everything they do works out seamlessly for them, because I'm following them on social media or whatever. I'm like, man, every time this person does a deal, like it just goes through, like they don't have to like stress out. They don't have to call this person every day for like 2 months to try and get this thing to move through. But I think it's because we only show the stuff that works out. Like, it's easiest to do that. It's the most exciting to do that. But I think it's encouraging to see that sometimes things do fail, even still. If you guys saw the percentages of shirts, like it's still the majority of things that we put up don't sell because we're putting up so much. But because we're putting up so much, even that smaller percentage, is still helping us run this business, helping us scale up this business still. So yeah, that's where I was at yesterday. I just felt encouraged, like I can share some of the failures that we're having now, that we're kind of past this point of like just talking about organic search on Amazon. We want to talk about a lot more, and I think if I can talk about consistency and, just showing some of the failures that we're still having daily, I think that, makes what we're doing, I don't know. I want to say more attainable, but it is attainable even if I didn't share that information. But more encouraging, to talk about that stuff. We've kind of leaned heavily on Christy, which we love her to be like that encouraging, like part of our group. But I think that we can be talking about, things that, just help everybody move forward and like, oh, okay, they're still, not finding success every single time they do this. So I just need to do this, if I do it 10 times, maybe once I'll find a business that wants to like work with me. And kind of what I was talking about yesterday of like having that good goal, just setting like realistic goals for yourself as well. Like know that first business that you go into when you're still like stumbling through your words and not quite sure how to get to the point of what you want to actually say, it's probably not going to work out the first time, but you have to at least put the effort forth to do that so you can learn. And then the next business you go into, it'll get like, a little bit better, your little like spiel and like trying to pitch this idea to them. But it might take 10 businesses even for you to have, a tight elevator pitch or whatever you want to call it, and then you have to go to 10 more businesses after that when you have that tight elevator pitch, for to actually see like one of those businesses take action and join what you're doing. So lots of good ideas. I'm happy to almost be here. This will probably be the last update for this trip, unless I make a video. I think I'm going up to Michigan on it'll be Sunday. So I might do another video on Sunday. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully you guys had a good 4th of July and enjoying some time with family and friends, and hopefully you have a good weekend to follow that up with as well. But until next time, guys, thanks for following my little crazy journey. I don't know the next time I'll be doing a long trip like this, but I hope to do videos like this where I can just share my thoughts. I think it's healthy for me, and I think it's cool for you guys to kind of see my progress of where I'm going, and also like some of the thoughts that I have on the road. But all right, guys, thanks so much. I'll see you later.
I'm here though. I may be a weirdo, but this is my year, yo. My life may be crazy. My lack of the lazy has let me do that I love on the daily.